Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Storer's Edge, the podcast where we explore the cutting-edge innovations and visionary leaders shaping our future. I'm your host, Stuart Storrer, the founder and CEO of Storrer Growth Solutions, where we help ambitious companies scale through AI-driven growth strategies. Today, we're diving into a revolution in wind energy with Patrick Richter, the visionary founder and CEO of Agile Wind Power. Patrick is pioneering a new era of decentralized power generation with his groundbreaking vertical sky technology. And we'll be exploring how this innovative approach is set to repower the world, one vertical axis turbine at a time. Patrick, it's fantastic to have you on Storer's Edge. Welcome.
Thank you very much.
Patrick, I understand your journey into wind energy started in a rather unconventional way with a small windmill built by your father-in-law, Carl, in 2005. Maybe you could share your story with us from how you got from there to, I guess, where we are today.
Yes, that's correct. Originally, my background was from a complete other direction. I was a software engineer before, and my father-in-law constructed a playground in his garden for my kids, and it was a construction. It looks like a landscape with some small mountains on it and rivers, and he pumped up the water there through that landscape. And to pump that water, his idea was to install a vertical axis wind turbine, a small one, but with a very different attitude. The rotor blades on it were spinning. They were agile and had the possibility to adjust to the wind direction. And I saw that, and I thought for myself, we have to try or to find out if there is enough efficiency in there to build that in large scale. That was the first inspiration we had, and at that time I was a CEO of a software company, and then I thought, okay, let's find out if that could be something new. I sold my shares from my first founded company, the software company. I made a handover to my colleagues and started again. That was the beginning of it 15 years ago. Yeah.
Wow. And so for our listeners who aren't familiar with it, could you explain what makes your vertical sky technology so fundamentally different from traditional horizontal wind turbines?
Yeah. So as the name says, it is a wind turbine with a vertical axis of rotation. So that means it rotates around a vertical axis where the generator is placed, and the turbine has 3 blades as well, but they are also orientated in a vertical direction, and the big difference is because of that we adjust the rotor blades all the times. It can generate a lot of power with a low rotational speed, and that results in a very silent operation. So our turbines are nearly soundless, and that opens the possibility that we can place or install those turbines also close to populated areas where it is not possible to get permits for installation of the traditional wind turbines.
So these are quite significant advantages, I guess, over competitors in that marketplace.
Yes, it is, and it opens a completely new market, which we focuses on. Our wind turbine is a solution for industrial and commercial consumers or customers. It enables them to produce large quantities of carbon-free electricity for their own consumption. So we only focus on that market. It is a huge demand there in the market because all of the companies have to decarbonize their business. And one of the possibilities they have is to produce green energy on site, for example, with solar panels. And wind is a very good combination to solar, because wind is mostly there when the sun is not shining.
That's not, yeah.
Exactly, and that combination gives a company a higher autarky, energy autarky. It is also cheaper. The electricity is cheaper than the electricity they get from the grid, and as I said, a very good combination to solar. Yeah, that solution or the demand for that is very high, and in the most cases, industry or industrial applications or commercial regions are very close to populated areas, and then it is most cases, especially in Europe, it is not possible to get a permit to build, and with our technology, it is possible.
And is noise the biggest factor, the biggest restriction?
Noise is one of the biggest factor. Another one is acceptance, but that is, I would say, a soft factor. The acceptance from a visual perspective, because of slow rotation, the shape of the rotor is not changing, and it looks more quiet or calm, integrates better into the landscape, because it's also a large building. It is 130 meters high. But because of that slow appearance, slow rotational appearance, and the noise, it is possible to get permits for the install.
Fantastic. Could you walk us through the technical specifications of your, I think it's the A32 and A40 models, is that correct?
The A32
so what
yes.
sort of power outputs are you talking about, and how does that compare with traditional turbines?
Okay, so our turbine is a large turbine. It is not a small wind turbine, because wind turbines have to be large to be economic. And the A32, the number stands for the diameter of the rotor. The A32 was the first full-scale prototype. We built them twice. And the first commercial turbine is the A42, which we will deliver by the end of next year to our first customers. The A40 has a rated power of 1 megawatt. So it generates power in the average of around 2.5 gigawatt hours, which is the demand of around 600 households, to get an impression.
That's a perspective, yeah. And how does that compare with traditional?
Yeah, the traditional are much larger. So the traditional wind turbines today, which are installed onshore, have a rated power between 3 and 8 megawatt. When you project or do the project development for a wind farm, then you take turbines between 5 and 8 megawatt today. So they are quite large, and they are used to generate power for the grid. So it's a completely
different
model. Different model. It is really hard to direct compare those because of that different size of it.
Okay, thank you. That's interesting. And so you've adopted a power as a service model for maybe three quarters of your production. Could you explain what that means in practical terms, and why you believe that's the right approach for this sort of technology?
Yeah, I explained that our turbine are used to generate own power on site, and that means a company which want to do this has the possibility to buy them. That is one case. But what we saw when we talk with industry companies, then they are really interested to have such a turbine on their ground. But they don't want to invest into it. They want to have the power of it. So that brought us to the idea to say, okay, let's install these turbines on your ground, but you don't have to pay for the turbine. We sell you the next 20 years the power which is generated by that turbine directly to you, and that is a model which is really interesting for all these customers. They always told me, here is the place, just build it, and where can I sign the contract for the purchase agreement. So what we do is we deliver then power to those customers for the next 20 years or for a guaranteed tariff, and that's the power as a service model.
That's really interesting. What are the sort of key challenges with that business model then for you?
The challenge of it is it needs a lot of investment, and but what we saw is that we partner with two companies at the moment which are interested to buy these turbines as an asset. In the future, in the midterm future, we are also interested that we sell it. That is what we need. We sell the turbine and get the money for it, and we. But we see in the midterm that we can also invest into those assets, our own turbines, that we are together with these funds which own these turbines as an asset, that we can generate money then from selling the power and not the turbine.
Okay.
And that is
Let's go ahead.
the challenge. You asked about the challenge. It
Yeah.
needs it needs investments. So first we have to earn money by selling those turbines. But what we see is around 75% of the customers are those who only want to buy the power for 20 years. And to realize that, it needs investments. It comes from one side, from infrastructure funds who are interested to finance that, and we see it as a very interesting potential for us, that in the future we can be part of those investments as well.
Okay. And I understand the decentralized energy market exceeds, I think it's 330 billion, 330 billion, I think it was last year, 2024. And I understand you're expanding your production now, aren't you, in Germany? So what are the biggest sort of challenges and opportunities you're going to face as you try and scale up your operations across Europe? And what are the biggest sort of opportunities for Agile Wind Power as you go forwards?
Yeah, the biggest opportunity is that it is an untapped market for wind. The decentralized power generation today is covered by solar technology, PV, rooftop PV, and battery storage, and there is no solution from wind. So we are the first one. That is the big opportunity. Also, the rising energy costs, especially in Europe, the obligation to decarbonize the business, that drives that business, and that is a huge opportunity for us. The challenge now is we are ready now with the first commercial turbine. We will be ready to deliver those by the end of next year to first customers, and in between we have to expand the existing manufacturing facility. We have to expand it, and that needs capital, and that's the challenge we have at the moment. We are in discussion with interested investors who invest into our company, that we are able to expand the organization and the production to be able to deliver the turbines, and then to to realize a production facility which is able to produce up to 200 units per year. And that is that shows the demand we have. And that needs investments to build that up, and that's the challenge we are facing at the moment.
Okay, but it sounds like there's some key sort of metrics and milestones there that investors should be excited about when they look at Agile Wind Power. With backing from, I think it's Verve Ventures, and I see there's growing media attention, including coverage I saw by Spiegel TV. How has the investment landscape changed for innovative energy technologies like yours, would you say?
I would say the energy sector, or especially the clean tech sector, was always a very special sector for investors. It is driven by trends. When I started the business, the trend there was mainly software. Every investor looked for a clean tech investment, which was based on software. For me, that was very special. I come from the software sector, but not from the energy sector. That was a huge trend during that time, and it changed during the years. I would say in the last 3-5 years, one of the trend was e-fuels, energy storage, as well, hydrogen, everything what has that goes a bit back. And carbon capture, and what I saw, when you are operating in a sector which covers that trend, then it was not so difficult to get investments. But when you were not, then it was really interesting, really challenging, especially when you do wind, because everybody thinks, oh, wind technology is invented.
Done and dusted.
That's right. That's right. The wind industry made a great journey through the last 30 years, and a lot of it is invented, and when you bring out something completely new, a lot of skepticism is there. Absolutely correct. That is absolutely correct. And you have to bring evidence that your technology has a good efficiency, that you cover a need in the market, and that was a very big challenge. And a lot of investors don't like technical risks. When the technology is there to grow up, and you have already showed it in the market, then you get investments very easy. If not, you have to find those investors who are interested to invest in an early stage, which have the technical expertise to deep dive into the technology. We found all the time these investors, and thanks of that, it was possible to bring it to the stage where it is. And I think now it is the last step, which we need an equity investment from these type of investors to bring up our brilliant team now to fly. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, fantastic. So a question around the regulatory landscape then. So how would you see the regulatory landscape evolving for decentralized wind energy, and what roles does government policy play in your growth strategy?
So from the regulation perspective in Europe, I would say it is a very good basis there, because, for example, there is a regulation which says if you generate own power, that means you consume a minimum of 51% of the produced energy by yourself, then you are privileged. That means you don't have to be part of a special zone where it is possible to install wind turbines.
Mm-hmm.
And you are in industrial regions or industrial zones, and with that own power generation, you are privileged. That means your process to get permits of installation goes much faster. So that helps a lot, and yeah, and the other is the environmental aspects. We have some advantages there as well, because all the bird researchers say that our turbine is not hitting the birds because they can recognize it and avoid it flying around. Because the rotor blades always turn on the same height. The strike always happens when rotor blades come down from the off. The bird is not looking up; he is looking straight ahead.
And they're flying horizontally. They're not flying vertically, are they? Yeah.
Or look down where the prey are. We have advantages there as well. So the regulation side is quite good for that. From the you asked the company governance.
What sort of role does the government policy play in your growth strategy?
It plays a role because we need the right regulations for decentralized to easy install decentralized energy technologies. Environment in the energy industry today is a centralized, focused industry. You have the large power plants who generates the power somewhere, and then you have grid to transport it. And the more you go decentralized, the more you have smaller installations that works very well together when you connect these smaller grids, which are intelligent grid, together. That works, but it is not always on the strategy of the large existing power providers. And the lobby of these are quite good, and they have the power to influence the government, that the regulations and the policies are going into that direction which they want. But a few of them are very innovative as well, and they see the potential in a more decentralized. I wouldn't say that we are going 100% decentralized, but we go into a more decentralized environment, and those who see that today, they are the winners of tomorrow. I'm quite sure. It is very, very, very similar to what the IT industry made in the 80s, when we had the development going from a few large centralized host computers to the decentralized PCs, where you bring the capability, the calculation capabilities to the desks. It is very similar. One large 3-letter IT company said one time, the world has a demand of around 4 or 5 supercomputer, and that's it. And when we look today, it's a completely different world.
The opposite. Absolutely.
A few of that is also happening in the industry.
Okay, sorry, did I interrupt? Sorry, Patrick, go ahead.
Maybe one last word about that. I think renewable energies are decentralized energies. Renewables are not always there. That means you have to consume it when they are there, and that's the reason why they shouldn't be generated in very large amounts, centralized. We need PV panels and wind turbines installed everywhere, and when they produce it. You consume it on site without any transportation, and to back that or as the backup, you need the existing infrastructure as well. So in the future, it will be a combination of it.
Okay, that sounds great. Yeah, no, that's really interesting. So, what is your long-term vision for Agile wind power, and what role do you see vertical axis turbines playing in the global energy transition over the next decades?
Yeah. So I see that our vertical axis wind turbines in that power size are the right ones for these industrial and commercial applications, to be installed decentralized, to empower a wastewater treatment plant, a data center, a cold storage, or a manufacturing plant, paper industry, and so on. And I see that these turbines will be installed worldwide, distributed to generate power on site. And I see, imagine you are the owner of all these smaller distributed wind turbines. You will be very fast one of the largest power provider. And that is something which gives all these applications all these customers independent and affordable power, clean power. And that is one of my vision, to deploy a technology which allows us that everyone can have clean power, affordable clean power, and the company who runs that will be one of the biggest power supplier.
And hopefully that's you.
Or we together with our partners.
With your partners, yes. So if you could, final question then, Patrick, from me today. If you could give advice to other entrepreneurs looking to disrupt traditional industries with innovative technology like yourself, what would be your, say, top 3 recommendations for them?
You have to be very resilient. It is absolutely important to never give up. That is something which you have to bring. And another thing is, try to make small steps with small successes which are measurable, that you can measure. Oh, okay. Sit down, make a plan. What are the milestones with the different steps of measurable results, and always when you stand up in the morning and look in the mirror, say, anybody can say anything. I go that way.
I'm just going to keep going. Fantastic.
That's spontaneous, but
no, thank you. That's really good advice. And so if any of our listeners would like to reach out to you or your colleagues or find out more about Vertical Sky and what you're doing, or maybe even investors who are interested and want to find out more, potential investors, how can they reach out to you? How can they contact you? How can they find out more?
Best way is to write me an email. patrick.richter@agilewindpower.com. That's the easiest way to reach me.
Okay.
I will read it. I read every email, and I will give an answer on it.
Okay. So we'll put your email address in the description of the podcast, so our listeners can access that and get in touch. And obviously, you have your website that they could go and look at, and I'm guessing there's contact details on there as well. Is that right?
Absolutely. Agilewindpower.com. You'll see everything what we are doing, and and you can subscribe the newsletter as well. So
perfect. Patrick, it's been an absolute fascinating 30 minutes. Your journey from simple windmill in a backyard to developing megawatt class technology that could revolutionize how we all think about wind energy is truly, I would say, inspiring. The vertical sky technology represents exactly the kind of innovative thinking we need to accelerate our transition to renewable energy. And I have no doubt that agile wind power will play a significant role in repowering our world. To our listeners, Patrick's story is a perfect example of how vision, persistence, and innovative thinking can create solutions to some of our biggest challenges. If you're interested in learning more about agile wind power, you now know how to find out. Thank you again for speaking with us today, Patrick. We'll see you all next time for more conversations with our leaders who are shaping our future. Patrick, it's been a real pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Stuart.